G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Well, unfortunately it's been raining all week. No opportunity to get any astrophotography, as you can see. The rocks are all wet behind me. This is a location that I demonstrated the before and after in Darktable edit. Was obviously keen to get out and get another shot in a situation where it wasn't blurry. All the foliage like last image was blurry. So unfortunately, even the lunar cycle is no moon today, so it would be perfect for astrophotography, but cloudy and rain, and no sign of the rain letting up over the next week. So I think the best idea is to grab a different aspect from that same set of shots I took the night I got the blurry foliage scene, and show you an end-to-end edit in Darktable. So let's get into it, guys. Okay guys, so back in the office. Basically, I'll show you the image actually. Let's go screen only. So this is the photo from the same weekend of the before and after video from last weekend that I showed you. So essentially this is just a different aspect, but just like that same evening, or actually morning, it was about 4 a.m. in the morning, you can see that all the foliage is quite blurry because it's very windy that morning. So that's why I'm very keen to get back and get some new shots, because I quite like this shot. It'd be perfect today, as I mentioned, lunar cycle. There's no moon. On this particular day, the moon was about 80%, but by this stage of 4 o'clock in the morning, it had already set. So perfect aspect, looking away from Sydney, which is in the east, and lots of light pollution in that direction. This is looking west, no light pollution. This image taken on a Nikon Z6 II with the Viltrox 16mm 1.8 lens, relatively new released lens, love it. It does have a light pollution filter on it, and this is a 15-second exposure. We'll go into more details and I'll illustrate that on screen later. Okay, so let's now move over to Darktable itself. So this was the previous image. So you can see that this particular one is, essentially the colors are identical to that previous one. But this is the after edit in Darktable. Let's just move me around here. Let's go bottom left. So I'm going to import a new image. So we're in the dark room right now. Let's go back over to the light table. So let's now add to library 4053, which would be a couple of shots before. Okay, so as you would have seen there, it's taken in RAW. Bringing it into Darktable, it looks quite weird. That's just some settings within Darktable itself. So because I've double-clicked on it already, it's brought it straight into the darkroom, and you can see the settings that are currently turned on. If we look over here on the left on the history stack, these are just the defaults that essentially Darktable tells you that are applied straight up as soon as the image is imported. Doesn't look particularly great right now. We'll come back to that. We'll see that change as we go forward. So I'm going to move over here to a white balance. You can see on the left, white balance is already turned on as part of the import. So I'm just going to expand that out. I don't want to go on this particular setting, camera referred point. I want to click on this left-hand one, which is set white balance to as shot. You can see that changes it a little. I'm going to click on the set white balance to detected from area. So I'm going to change this a little. Let's just look at this part of the image. So I've left clicked and dragged that box to a certain portion of the image. I'll leave it at that for the moment. We can always change that later if we want to. So next, I want to click on the next one will be exposure. So basically right now, I'm just going to turn on a whole series of things. We want tone equalizer. We won't need nega doctor. We'll turn on base curve. We'll turn on shadow and highlights. We'll turn on color reconstruction. You can see that Darktable's automatically starting to make changes based on that. Now I'm going to go right over to the right and correct tools. So I'm going to go down to raw chromatic aberrations. Most of this stuff I'm just going to turn on and not do much with, but you will see Darktable will automatically do some changes to it. So raw chromatic aberrations, hot pixels I will drill into. I like to maximize that, so I'm going to click on detect by 3, mark the ones that are getting fixed. So you can see there's quite a few hot pixels in here. Now I'm just going to maximize the strength, maximize the threshold, bring that actually back so you can see the changes. So this is going to remove quite a few hot pixels. So I'll just list it, uncheck the mark fixed, and you can see it's already different. So I'll just turn that off, turn it on. So you can see it does remove what looks like some of the stars, but in particular the hot pixels. Okay, so let's just click on raw denoise. Denoise profile, don't want surface blur, don't want to rotate the pixels, don't want to scale the pixels. I just click on lens correction, automatically fixes that. I can drill in and go look for it, and it pretty much just automatically applies it. You can see that lens is already here. Where do we get to? So haze removal, chromatic aberrations I'll check as well. Haze removal, I like to apply that twice. You can see that's already made a slight change to it. Now I'm just going to duplicate it. So if I just expand that out just to show you, so I'm not changing any of that. You can if you want to. I just like to apply it, duplicate the instance. I like to apply it twice, and if I have issues or I don't like the look of it, then I will come back to it and increase, decrease, etc. later. So let's click on liquefy. Retouch we don't need right now. I'm going to apply the other Astro denoise, contrast equalizer, sharpen. Yep, so it's on. Okay, so let's come over to color. Let's turn on most of these. Color calibration, I'll turn that off because color calibration and white balance tend to conflict with each other. So we'll leave that for now. RGB primaries turn on, color lookup table, color equalizer, color balance RGB, LUT or LUT 3D, color correction, color contrast, Velva, color zones, monochrome we don't need. So you can see it's already making quite a few changes. Okay, so let's just come over to Velva, expand that out. I like to play with this a little, and I'm just going to right click on it and increase it. This is just the subtle increases. Yeah, okay, nice. Let's just hold that one. You see it's changed it. I won't change anything else. All right, let's go over to the tone tools, turn on the RGB curve, turn on the levels, Turn on sigmoid. There we go. Sigmoid's done some funky stuff. Now I may come back and turn that off, but that's not bad right now. It's made the sky a bit darker, really brought out the Milky Way. Click on tone curve, click on local contrast. You can see that's really quite nice now. All right, so next tool set over, the base tools. We don't need Neg Doctor, as I said before. We turned all these on before. So now if we click on our power button, you can see all those things are turned on. Now, I'm not going into a lot of detail on these tools, but by all means, go and check out Bruce Williams Photography YouTube channel. Bruce has got some awesome stuff. He basically goes into every tool in detail. There's nothing you can't learn from Bruce. So by all means, check out his channel. I'll put some links in down below and in the comments, etc. This is Bruce's channel. Highly recommend you go and check it out. There's nothing you can't learn from Bruce and his channel on Darktable. All these tools that are turned on are not turned on in the same order as you turn them on. They're turned on in the order that Darktable works on them. So a little bit of insight there. Quite a few tools we've turned on. Now if we look over here at the history stack, now we've got local contrast is our last setting. I can scroll down on the left here and click on original. That's what the original looked like. So let's just scroll back up. Let's right now take a snapshot. If I click back on local contrast, scroll up a little more, click on snapshot, take snapshot, and now if I scroll back to the bottom, click on original, and back up, I think. Right, I don't actually tell, to be honest. There we go. Back on local, the snapshot, which is local contrast, which is the last one. So now, because I've you can see before and after, right? So there you go, before and after, really bringing out the Milky Way there. It's a bit greeny looking at the front, so let's just move that out. Okay, so now what I like to do is go back over here to, this is the quick access panel. So things I like to do now, just gently increase global vibrance. I'll leave that there. Global chroma. These are only subtle changes. Global saturation will increase a bit as well. And global brilliance will increase. I'm deliberately making this edit different to the last one. So color calibration we can adjust here as well. So I just increase that. You see the difference it makes. Color calibration, that's color calibration now, because I'm not exposing the snapshot. So if I click on snapshot, that's what it looked like before. It's back at local contrast because that's the snapshot, and you can see the tool here now shows as well, because this is comparing it to the last step now, which was color calibration. I don't know about you, but I don't like that. Let's just turn that off for the moment. I'm going to hit reset. So that's just reset it. Okay, let's scroll back up. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back to white balance here, and I'm going to put this back to camera. Yep, so that's the difference there. Let's just have a look at what it does with white eye drop. Okay, I do. It's a bit green. Okay, now it's adjusting it. You got turn that off, turn it on. What about pencil? Camera referred. Okay, now it's a bit pinker, a bit purpley or mauvey. So I think I prefer this. I prefer the eyedropper mode. Just compare it to camera again. Yeah, no, I think I like this. You might have a different opinion. Okay, it also makes it a bit brighter. All right, now, so what I want to do is I'm going to increase the exposure. Let's just move that up a few stops. That's a bit better. Let's go a bit more. Whoops, we're going too far there. Let's come back a little. Getting a bit excited. Okay, that's looking not too bad. Don't want to overdo it here, because I can always come back to it anyway. It's going a bit further. All right, let's leave it at that. Don't always play with black level, but let's just see what that's going to do for us. Yeah, I can see that. Let's go the other way. Yeah, it's a bit dark. And that's the same. Let's just double click it to reset it. Okay, that's back to 0. Okay, so let's minimize that. Let's go over to let's go back to Velva. Increase the strength of Velva. Let's go a bit further. Really making that Milky Way bring out some colours, and it's making it pop a whole lot more. Starting to really like that. Okay, so now let's get a bit funky with I'm just going to go back to the the quick access panel, and let's just go local contrast. Let's increase that a bit. Yep, okay. I'm just going to go back to normal. Let's increase our global vibrance again. And a bit more. Yeah. Chroma the same. Saturation the same. Global brilliance the same. You can see I'm not making substantial changes here, really. Okay, so let's just have a look at the tone curve. Increase the colors a little. Not too much. All right, then I'll brighten the center a little. So I'm going to go back to what is on. Let's go down to, let's go down to exposure. I now want to go a new instance. Okay, so want to add a drawn or parametric mask. So let's click on the ellipsis. So click here in the center, hit the control key and move it around so it's across the Milky Way. Lift off the control key, unclick, drag it out. hit the control key, sorry, the shift key, and scroll in. Yeah, to about there. Now let's increase the exposure. Just a little, not too much. We want the edges to be soft, not too hard. So let's scroll down. Let's turn on our mask to show our mask where it's actually impacting. Let's turn up feathering radius and click on the right spot and drag it up. Yeah, that's better. So now it's a little more subtle. Blurring radius, we'll do the same. Again, I want it to be subtle. Let's wait until the PC catches up. Okay, mask opacity, let's turn that up a bit. Same with mask contrast, just fiddle with that. Yeah, see it's a little bit too harsh there, so I'm going to bring that back again. Back down, so you can see by dragging it in both directions, it really does make quite a dramatic impact. So I'm not going to make it too substantial, so back to just near the center. Now if we turn off the actual mask to show where the mask is, turn off the yellow. Okay, so it's not too subtle. Now let's just scroll up, turn off, turn on this to see the difference. So let's just turn it off. Not a big difference. Turn it on. That's okay. So let's scroll down. Details threshold, let's increase that a little. Okay, let's just change it again subtly. So scroll up, very hard to see that. Not sure how well it'll come out on videos, so let's just turn it off. Yep, not a massive difference, only a little. Okay, that's not bad. Let's click that out. I'd like to brighten the foreground a little. I'm going to go back to our fills that are on. Go back down to highlights. Exposure, I should say. So I'm going to create a new instance again. I don't want to duplicate. I want to go a new instance because I want to start from fresh. So same thing, go down to masks, drawn and parametric mask, click on the add gradient. Okay, so let's drop our add gradient in about here. Click on the Alt key. Okay, that's better. I want to really give that some shape now to be much more like bordering the scene. Okay, let's move it down. And let's increase that intensity. So exposure up. Just turn on the mask, see what it's doing. That we don't want to do. Let's scroll further down. Now I'm going to come down and go inclusive inverted. That's what I'm wanting. Let's move it back up a bit. That's looking good. All right, let's just turn that off. That's better. Okay, so now let's increase it, boost factor. Feathering radius. Going to increase all those. Mask opacity, mask contrast. Better, that's getting better, like that. So let's just let's increase that exposure a bit further. Want that foreground a bit brighter. That's it. Let's have a closer look at that by zooming in, zoom out. Let's go up here to other, click on other slideshow. Let's look at that in a bigger screen. Wait for that to respond. There we go. Milky Way looks really good there. So hit escape to come back. Don't hit the X button or the close button in that window, otherwise you close the program. It's just the escape key, and it brings you back to the light table. So click back on the darkroom. Wouldn't mind maybe just very subtly emphasizing the darker sections of the Milky Way. So let's go the other way this time. Scroll down to, where are we? To exposure. Let's go again. Another exposure, new instance. This time on our masks tools, drawn and parametric mask. Click on that. Let's just click on the brush. Okay. Now let's make it bigger by rolling the wheel. Okay. All right, now let's just see how that goes. All right. Now what we want to do there, I do want to use black level. So what I'm going to do is turn on the mask. You can see what we've just done. So now turn it off. Okay, now what I want to do is increase the black level. Not too much, not that much. This does need to be subtle, this one, so we're better off with the right click feature and subtle increase. Subtle increase. Let's go all the way, see what it does. See, it'll be too much. Okay, yep, too much. So let's bring it back. Slowly bring it back. Slowly bring it back. All right, so let's just leave it there. Now let's just make sure. So let's turn on our mask indicator. Come down. I want to make sure the feathering radius is quite substantial. That's it. Blurring radius the same. Let that finish, the PC catch up. Yep, let's just turn it off, see what that looks like. We only want this to be subtle. Turn it off. Yep, so it's just made those darker sections a little bit darker. Just turn that off and turn it on to show you what it looks like. Turn it off. Not very substantial. Turn it on. You can see, maybe you can just see a little bit of a difference there. Okay, cool. Now we could make the brush a bit smaller, so and do this, you know, in a smaller, subtle way for each section to make the brush a similar size. We could apply another one here because this will be the same intensity. So if we just scroll back down, we could just go, yep, I want to go again, another brush. See what I mean? Click on brush. And now let's scroll in a little. Oops, that's the wrong one. Scroll in. I'm hitting the shift key and scrolling with the wheel. You can see that it makes the intensity, the size of the center of the mask or the tool smaller and larger. I click on the control key. It actually makes the intensity of it more or less, depending on which way you scroll. Fingers off the keyboard controls, and I scroll in, scroll out. The brush just gets bigger or smaller. So, okay, let's make it about there, and let's just draw. Okay, now you got to be careful because when you go over it twice, let's just turn that off and on. Okay, now I'm just going to hide all the lines from the tool. You just click on the little arrow with the circular dots. Turn that off. You can hide the actual lines or outlines of the mask. Turn it on. You can see it. Turn it off. Okay, now let's just turn off that change. exposure 3. It's only subtle, you can see. Turn it on. Actually, don't mind that. Just brings it out a little bit more. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Now you can rename these. Click on that fella, rename here. Sorry, so the kind of overlaid squares, click on that, you rename it if you want to. If you want to give it a different name, you can certainly do that. You can do that with pretty much a lot of the tools in particular. So we've got exposure 1, exposure 2, exposure 3. We could name all those a different name to be more precise about, what it is that one in particular is doing. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. Let's now make the outsides a little lighter. I'm going to use the same feature, but duplicate again. Not duplicate, sorry, add a new version of exposure. So new instance, parametric and drawn masks. Let's do the same. Let's turn on our brush. Got a nice subtle on the outside, but do need to make it much larger. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush it over here like this. Probably there. So let's just do that because I want to take a little bit of that haze out of the alongside the actual more intense parts of the Milky Way. So let's just do that. Okay. Now let's put on our mask indicator. Let's come down and feathering. Let's make feathering substantial, blurring radius substantial. Scroll down. Mask opacity, not so hefty, but I want to come back to that. So let's make the mask contrast. Let's fiddle with that a little. Yeah, no, where it was is about right. So let's mask opacity. I want to go the other way. Okay. All right, let's turn that off. Okay, let's just see what that's doing. Because I will fiddle with that more. Turn it off. Yeah, you can't really see it's doing anything there. Turn it on. Don't want it to be quite so substantial. So let's go up. Don't want to make too much of a massive line and change here. Let's go up further. That's better. Now we're in the section I want to be in. Okay, so yeah, that's too strong, of course. Let's come back. Slowly come back. Don't want to make it too strong. Up a bit, up a bit. Okay, somewhere in that range. And come back a fraction more. Up a tad. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let's just turn that off. Turn it on. Yep, that's nice. All right, let's do the same again. Add another one. Brush. Adjusting the sizes here. Hitting the shift. Make it a bit larger. Now take my fingers off the keys and scroll a bit further to make it smaller. All right, let's just do this. Okay. Now that's quite subtle, as you can see. Let's just turn that on. Sorry, turn it off. Turn it on. Turn it off. Turn it on. Yeah, that's not bad. Turn it off. Turn it on. So now you can see it's taking out some of the intensity alongside the Milky Way. So let's just hide our mask lines. Turn them off. Okay. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. So we can just take a bit of a snapshot of a before and after. So let's do that. Let's scroll on the left up to our snapshot feature. Click on take snapshot. We've taken our snapshot on exposure 4, the last thing we edited there. Scrolling down. Oops, we've gone too far. Let's go up a bit. on the right, scroll down. Now we can see original. Click on original, see the difference. Here we go. Scroll that across. That's what it did look like. That's what it looks like now. What it did look like, what it looks like now. Now I just want to show you before we go any further, you can mess with white balance here. We go back to originally is taken picture. We actually need to kill, because we've added white balance, it's actually compressed the history stack now. So let's get rid of those. Now 2 snapshots. All right. So, and the same here, let's get rid of that one. Restore snapshot into current history. You will notice from here forward in the video that the color scheme between the edit prior and the edit after this point in the video, that the color scheme is different. That's because I actually completely messed up. I don't normally use this snapshot feature for myself, but I was keen to obviously show you the before and the after like this with the swipe tool by the snapshot tool. I actually, as I said, I messed up. I clicked on this reset button, which killed all my prior history edit in the history stack. So I had to start all over again to get to this point. But it is quite interesting because what this does is show you that you can actually make the colors different by just playing with the white balance slightly. So I decided to make this one a little bit cooler. You can obviously make it warmer like it was in the last edit, but I actually do prefer this color scheme better. And essentially I've done all the same edits to this point, just changed the white balance slightly. So let's continue with the rest of the video. Let's just show you the information for the image. So as I said before, it was taken on a Z6 II Nikon. It's the Viltrox 16mm 1.8 f1.8 lens. This was a 15-second exposure. Originally taken at a 4900 Kelvin or white balance, and the ISO is at 2000. Focus distance is 100 meters, and you can see it was taken 17th of the 6th. Sorry, I just had to think about that. Wow, it has been nearly 2 weeks since I took that photo. Okay, good-o. Righto, let's export it. So let's just scroll back up, hide our image information. We click in here under target storage, file format. I'm going to export this as a JPEG. I'm going to click on where I want it on my PC. Where are we? Darktable exported. Yep, that's correct. Cancel that. And scroll down a bit further. Okay, so I don't want to change any other options. I've got quality to 100%. I don't change any of these other settings. If you want to know more about all these settings in particular, by all means, go and spend some time looking at Bruce's videos. As I said before, Bruce Williams, his videos are awesome on YouTube on every feature of Darktable. Okay, now I'm going to click export. And we're done, guys. So that's it, guys. We're done. Hopefully you got something out of this video that you found useful. By all means, leave some comments down below. If you want me to cover off anything different in Darktable, by all means let me know. But from here forward, most of what I'll be covering off is, bits and pieces on astrophotography. When the rain finally stops and we get some clear skies here in the Blue Mountains in Australia. But also I'll be covering off different parts of the Blue Mountains and some photography related to that. So thanks very much for watching. By all means, subscribe if you like. There will be more videos coming. So catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Appreciated.